Hey, welcome back everyone. I am out here to go on another honor ride, only this one's gonna be a little different, but we're gonna bring you along. And if you wonder why I'm wearing a mask, it's not because of COVID. It's because here in Nebraska, you gotta cover your face when you don't have a windshield and you don't have a face mask. Otherwise, you get bugs in your teeth. If you don't believe me, check out my Instagram from a while ago and see all the bugs that got all over my glasses. So, bring you along for this little ride. Okay, so as I told you, we're going to do a little bit of a different type of honor ride today, and it's not going to be on motorcycles, but I'm here with Steve and Ann Teget, who they relate to us a little bit more with the Good Life video project, and they have a really neat story that we are going to do kind of in two parts. I interviewed them about 3 years ago, and we're here today to give an update to that interview about all the changes that have happened in their life. And they're going to tell us this week, we're going to dig a little bit more into their story and how they started the Postcard Jar. Ann, will you tell us a little bit about what started you and Steve on this journey?
Sure. Well, maybe you're probably curious about where we got the name Postcard Jar. We have a travel blog called postcardjar.com, and the Postcard Jar really started when we started dating and got married. We loved to travel, and we were always looking for some kind of souvenir to bring home, just to kind of something to remember. And we didn't really need any more stuff for our house, so we decided to get postcards everywhere we went, and we would mail them to ourselves at home and jot down some things we enjoyed about a trip, where we stayed, what we did, what we learned, and then we just start piling all these postcards into a jar, and we just use it. It sits in our front entryway as just a home decoration. So that's kind of where we got the name.
Cool.
And then Postcard Jar, our travel blog, started in March of 2014. We both, like we said, we love to travel, and people started always asking us about our travels, especially around Nebraska. There were just, living in southeast Nebraska, people were always asking us, you know, what did you do when you went to Crawford, or what else is there to do besides go to the Omaha Zoo, you know, in Nebraska. So we're always giving people a lot of ideas on things to see and do. across our great state. And so we just started to document some of those on a blog, and it just has really taken off. We've got a lot of followers and people interested in travel. So now we've started sharing travel stories from not only Nebraska, but all over the world.
Cool, that is cool.
And we really want to try and make our blog about extraordinary travel for everyday people like us.
Okay, Steve, just recently you guys took the next step with this, and you retired from being Creed's middle school principal. Tell us what brought you to that and how you went to this next level.
Ann had been diagnosed a few years ago with a chronic illness, and we've had a lot of trips to and from the Mayo Clinic, and in fact that's kind of one of the reasons why we started our blog. It was something that we could work on that didn't necessarily, she wasn't working at that time, so it was just something we could do together. We really enjoyed what we were doing, and we kind of came to the realization that life is short, and we wanted to try doing this and see what we could do. You know, I could have stayed in my position and made that my life's work, or I could try something new, and so we decided we'd jump, we'd give it a whirl.
Okay, Stephen, and you said you've traveled a lot in Nebraska. Tell us a little bit about some of the favorite places you've been in Nebraska.
Yeah, we have traveled Nebraska a lot. I actually started doing an annual Nebraska trip when my daughter was in 4th grade, and we've done it every year since. She's 23 now, and Steve and I have just loved traveling this great state. I would say some of my favorite places are Crawford, Nebraska. Toadstool Geologic Park is probably one of the most interesting geologic formations in the country, and it's right here in Nebraska.
You don't feel like you're in Nebraska.
You don't. You feel like you're on the moon, to be honest. And last summer we went back for, I think, the 3rd time, and we found a great restaurant at the Cook Shack at the
High Plains Homestead.
High Plains Homestead.
We stayed there this summer.
Yeah, awesome place. Just a great adventure. So I love that part of the state. The sandhills are just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
We spent some time there this year.
You know, Chadron's another great place to go. The Fur Trade Museum is there. The Old Main Street Inn with the innkeeper there, Jeannie. She's a great person to get to know in Nebraska. We love North Platte. There's so much to do around the North Platte area. Drive north through Halsey. Valentine is a favorite destination. You get the idea. We don't have one favorite. We just like Nebraska travel. There's so much here. And one other place I think everybody needs to see is the Ashfall Fossil Beds State Historical Park near Royal. It's an amazing place.
Cool. We know you've also traveled throughout the U.S. and then you've also went on some mission trips and traveled outside the country. Tell us, what are your favorite places in the U.S. and what are your favorite places outside of the U.S.?
Gosh, there are so many, but you know, just a couple that come to my mind. Sri Lanka is an incredible island, the most incredible people. You know, as we travel all over the world, I think the thing that we love most are the people we meet. And so I would say Sri Lanka. Gosh, Tallinn, Estonia was absolutely beautiful. People are just incredible resilience there in Tallinn. And then we also loved when we went to pick our daughter up. She studied in Salamanca, Spain, and we were able to go and sort of pick her up from
All good
college.
you know?
Yeah, from Spain,
so,
a kid special.
So we spent several days in Salamanca, where Christopher Columbus actually studied, and that was just an absolutely incredible city that we loved. What about you?
You know, I would say one of my favorites is Costa Rica. The whole country is an amazing place. It's beautiful. The ecotourism is available there, and just the things that you can do, whether you want to relax in a mountain stream that's volcanically heated and enjoy the hot springs, or if you want to go zip lining or whatever it is, explore the rainforest. Costa Rica is a great place. And then here in the U.S., I would also just toss out, we just got back from Pawhuska, Oklahoma, which is the home of the Pioneer Woman. And you think, okay, well, you like the cinnamon rolls and the chicken fried steak, which I did. That would be a lie if I said I didn't. But there's just so much more to do down in that area, too. It's full of history. We can't wait. We're going to write several blog posts coming up soon about that. And that trip is a wonderful place. Very friendly people.
Cool. Okay, so hi, Ann and Steve. It's great to see you guys again. And when we visited in 2017, we talked about all of the things that you guys had begun doing with the postcard jar. But 3 years is a long time, and a lot has happened since then. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that Oklahoma connection that you have?
Yeah, so when we had first connected 3 years ago at the Pumpkin Festival, we had just made our first trips to Pawhuska, Oklahoma, which is a small town in Osage County, and it's the capital of the Osage Nation. And we had just been going down there a few times and found ourselves falling in love with that little town, and wound up buying a house there in August of 2018. So.
Yeah, Osage County has so much incredible history. It also just happens to be the home of the pioneer woman Ree Drummond and her Mercantile. If you've seen her on the Food Network, she has a show there and lots of other great things that she does. But we really just fell in love with the history of the area and the small town life. Of course, being from small town in Nebraska, it was an easy connection, but we just decided to make an investment in that community and bought a small house there. And we actually have spent quite a bit of time there, living there, and going back and forth between the two places. But when we're not there, we share our home through Airbnb with other people who visit Pawhuska.
That's really neat. That's really neat. Ann and Steve I call them probably the kings of Instagram. As you know, they kind of started out with blogs, and they both have a great ability to write and to bring you into their life through writing. But probably in the last 2 years, maybe even less than that, you guys have really taken on making some great Instagram stories.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, it's something I really love doing. My background was in journalism and photography, so Instagram to me is just, you get to just create things every single day, and it's just if anything, it's a creative outlet for me. But more than that, it has been an opportunity for us to really just connect with readers of our blog and just engage them in our content and really build that relationship. Our goal has been always to just inspire people to take that next step on their journey, whatever that might be. And so it's been a lot of fun for us. We enjoy it. So I appreciate your kind words.
And that's really what why we're doing this honor ride with you guys, even though you're not motorcyclists, you're not riding.
I'm in a chair.
It's because of the way that you guys inspire people. You're just average, everyday person. You were a principal of a school, and you worked with a telecommunications company.
Yes.
And then they just started to do a different kind of life, an extraordinary kind of life, with all of the travel. And then with, to me, probably recently, the inspiration is in how much you guys have lost weight and how you've improved your health. What started both of them on this journey is Ann's health issues. And now, they took control of that situation and have done some wonderful things and have done some wonderful inspiration to others through that.
Thank you. Yeah, we have lost a combined 175 or so pounds, and
since we met,
right? Since we were
yeah.
So you'll see that other video, and then you'll see we've changed a little bit. But it's been just a great opportunity, great sort of health journey, getting into healthy living, eating the right foods, and just trying to make some positive changes.
Yeah, I think when I was diagnosed with a couple chronic illnesses 6 years ago, and there was a lot that just happened with our health, and I think you take that for granted when you're pretty healthy. And at that point, gosh, it really was an eye-opener that, there were some things, that aren't really in my control. And last year, we just decided there are things that are in our control, and we're going to work on those. And so just developing a more healthy lifestyle with an effort to just help the condition of our body and hopefully sustain our life and the things that we're able to do, because there's a big world out there, and there are a lot of things that we want to see and do, and you know, if you don't have your health, those are, you know, really difficult to do.
So some of, when we met Ann and Steve in 2017, they had kind of just started on the social media, on Facebook, and you probably had your Instagram kind of.
Yeah,
I think we had the account, we didn't do much. Yeah.
And so about when we met in October, we had kind of been at about the same amount of numbers Facebook wise. But since then, you guys have just kind of steadily, I mean, it's been organic growth. And you're up to how many people?
A little over 8,000 now.
And your Instagram is
4,000, 4,800.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and so we will put the links to their Instagram and their Facebook down in the feed, and as well as I'll show them on
Please do
screen
follow
here.
along. We'd love to have you join us. We try to have fun.
Yeah, and they're just really down to earth people that.
Yeah.
I mean, we've only talked a few times, and I feel like you're friends.
Yeah, and that's really what we want. You know, we're just kind of everyday people, and we, you know, started out our blog really talking and sharing extraordinary experiences for everyday people like us. You know, we're midlife, you know, couple. We're empty nesters now, and we just wanted to do some things to inspire people to see a little bit more of their local community as well as the world. And that's kind of how it started out. And it's just sort of grown and blossomed into something really, you know, hopefully motivational for people, whatever that, you know, like we said, the next step on your journey.
We just try to keep it really authentic and organic and just kind of be who we are, and people are free to come or, you know, come or go, whatever, but hopefully they come and stay with us, because we just try to have a good time. We try to enjoy life and
bring them along with us on our journey.
Bring them along on a journey and inspire, like Ann said, just to try something new.
And then the numbers, you know, as our numbers have increased since we saw you last, you know, we don't, of course we love, you know, just reaching more people with kind of our experiences and hearing their experiences as well, just bring us so much joy. But we've never, you know, you can pay for subscribers now. We haven't done that. We haven't done follow for follows. We've just tried to allow it to grow organically, and whatever it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But I think it's given us a real authenticity in just what we do and the people that come along on this journey with us. That's been really rewarding. And like you feel like you know us, we feel like there are so many of our followers as well that we, if we were in the same place, we'd probably be really good friends.
Yeah, and we get super excited too when we see some people commenting on things, or we know who they are. We've never met these people face to face, but they comment on enough things that we feel like we've built a relationship with them, and it's been just a real blessing to us.
Especially during the pandemic here.
Yes.
And I think that's the really neat thing is, and that's where the authenticity of what you do, you just are there to inspire other people, like 90% of the time, if not more than that even. And so that's just kind of a really neat thing. What you see here is what you get.
Yep. Authenticity has always been really important to us. I think it's easy in the blogging world to just think about you know, every steak you have is not the best steak you've eaten, right? We try to let people know when something we think is the best or if it's not, and be real. I think as travelers, people want authentic reviews, or just they want to know about your experiences and is it worth them doing it. And so we try and just be very real with people.
And we also, you know, we know that there are sites out there like TripAdvisor that people can get a review of a restaurant. So we try to give a different angle or bring the place to life in a different way than just a plain old restaurant review. Like, we went here and we had the fish and it tasted this way. We want to say more about the ambiance, the experience, and really try to, like we said, inspire people to go and try something new, especially if it's a place that we like. Yes.
Yeah, so speaking of the pandemic, you guys have pretty much been here at this beautiful home of yours since it started, And so tell us a little bit about what you had kind of planned and where it's kind of gone and how you're looking to move forward from that.
Go ahead.
We had come into this year thinking we might be going to come back to this house and kind of maybe get it ready to sell. We weren't sure where we wanted to be, but we weren't sure this was it because we were on the road so much. And then we were here, and in all honesty, if you have to be quarantined, we're very blessed. We have a beautiful home and a beautiful view, and so we tried to share that with people as much as we could, with our pictures and whatnot. But we kind of fell back in love with this house, and we began doing some projects around the home that were needed. We redid this deck. We have done some plantings.
Our yard has never looked better.
Our yard is fantastic now, and yes, I'm very
But some
proud
of the
that.
places, the question about where were we planning, we had plans to do some touring in Wichita, Kansas, which we've never been. There are a lot of great things to do there. Of course, we had a couple trips to Rochester, Minnesota, to the Mayo Clinic. We were also scheduled to do a really phenomenal 2-week tour of Route 66 from the Blue Well in Catoosa, Oklahoma, all the way to Kingman, Arizona. And so we're really disappointed we missed that, but
Hopefully next year.
Yeah, we're hopeful that we can do it again next year. And then this week we'd been planning kind of our big cruise for this next 2 years was to go to Iceland, Greenland, and Ireland. We were supposed to leave on Sunday. So that's a bummer, but hopefully it'll be in our future someday.
Yeah, that's kind of sad, but you guys, so the first cruise that you went on was how long ago?
In 2013. 2013.
Okay, 13. Yeah.
2013.
To Alaska.
To Alaska.
Okay. And then
And we were hooked.
Yeah, it took
And how many have you
Cruise.
gone on since then?
we have finished 13 cruises now.
Wow.
So
And do you do all of them with the same cruise lines?
we have done 11 of them with Celebrity Cruises. No, 10 with Celebrity Cruises, 2 with Royal Caribbean, and 1 with Carnival. And so we've tried a couple others out. Each cruise line is a little different depending on and so I would recommend different ones for different people. All kind of depends on what your personality is and which cruise line might fit you better. If we were traveling
What you
with,
want to do,
yeah.
what your budget is,
Exactly.
who you're traveling with.
Exactly. If we were traveling with little kids, we might look more at a Royal Caribbean. If it's just the two of us, probably Celebrity. So
Do you have any secrets that you're willing to share on?
If you want to travel, it is possible, through saving, budgeting, not having debt, but also just taking advantage of opportunities to travel in your own backyard. I mean, some of the neatest things that we found have been on road trips within 90 miles of our home.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I think we forget that, travel doesn't mean having to go on a cruise or go across the ocean to another country, that you can travel, right near wherever it is that you live.
travel and see a lot of really neat things right in Nebraska.
Yeah, I mean, we have had so much fun just learning about our state and now Oklahoma. But there are some great things to do right here in Nebraska. And we're actually kind of talking about doing some of those outdoor activities that, are going to be safe and sanitary for us now, because Nebraska has so many great outdoor recreation activities.
And so that's why we've encouraged people through the Good Life Video Project as we released season 1 onto YouTube. And now as we're into season 2, that using things like the Nebraska Passport Program and your local tourism, whether you live in Nebraska or you live elsewhere, your local tourism, and doing the Good Life video, I found out more about the state than I ever knew
Sure.
growing up in
Yeah.
it. And I'm sure it's kind of the same way with you guys. You find out things about your state and you find out there's a lot of diversity. It's not just the corn, and it's not just farmers, and it's not just rednecks that live here in Nebraska.
No.
There's
If you head west and a little north, you can get into the Sand Hills. Some of the most beautiful country you'll see anywhere. Not that the rolling hills covered in corn and beans of southeast Nebraska don't have their own beauty, because they really do.
Yeah, I think, you know, as we have traveled all over the United States and even around the world, some of our very most memorable travel experiences have been right here in Nebraska. For instance, I think we would both put watching the sandhill cranes near Kearney,
Yes.
being out in a blind and watching the cranes, you know,
Land on the
ascend
river,
or descend from the
take
river.
off in the morning.
We would put that, we always say it's in our top 5 travel experiences of all time, and it was just a couple hours drive west.
It was up there with, you know, seeing humpback whales in Alaska, and here we are in Nebraska on the Platte River, and it's just incredible. If you haven't done that, do that.
So I just really want to thank you, Ann and Steve, for allowing me to come to your house and meet with you again to kind of give an update to people to the first interview, and also to see this wonderful house that you have. So one thing we're going to do now and show a little bit of and allow you to take in is some beauty of the place.
Awesome.